The MacBook, an incredible thing. Where is it? This is not a MacBook. This is an Asus VivoBook. Many years ago, it cost $200, and this is what I've been using as my laptop since then. And I work remotely, it's just not acceptable. So it was time to upgrade, and going for a Mac was something I got kind of excited about. You know, I'm a Windows guy, I have an Android phone, I'm not a big Apple boy. This is my Apple device. Look at that. Tastefully aged. Oh, also, I should mention, I'm doing a bit of a casual thing here today. I'm not showing my face. We're going to see how this goes. So I have brought in the Avery Giga Chad to take my place today. Look at this if you need to imagine what my facial expression's looking like. I don't know. Why go with a Mac? I think in my mind, the idea was the aluminum, like metal body is really good, and the screen's really nice, and the battery life is good. Originally, I was kind of interested in one of the Mac Pros that had the touch bar because I like secondary screens. I think they're cool. I like to have as many as I can. I decided it was just kind of too old, and the keyboards from that generation were not great. This is what I decided on going with. This is a refurbished MacBook Pro. I actually have a pretty good experience with eBay's refurbished stuff. I know that sounds kind of weird because everybody hates eBay, including me. I don't like eBay. They suck. The only reason anybody uses eBay is because everyone posts their things they're selling to eBay. And if you want to buy something used, you go to eBay. That's the only reason why anybody does it. Despite all this, eBay's refurbished program has been pretty good. I've had a good experience with it. Both this monitor, the previous monitor I owned, and this monitor are eBay refurbished. My Z7 up here is eBay refurbished. One of the things they do that's kind of interesting with some of their stuff is they just straight up give you like an all-state insurance plan. And honestly, I think that's kind of cool. Most of the time when one of these refurbished websites are like, hey, we have a 1-year guarantee, it's just kind of like their word and it's not a third-party company doing it. So I think that's kind of nice. I haven't had a chance to test that yet. And because I'm spending a fair amount of money, I thought Best Buy would not be too bad of an idea. I mean, listen, Best Buy is Best Buy. It's a huge company, so you know, I was hoping they would be able to deliver on what they were promising, right? So let's take a look at this listing real quick because there's a few things here that are already kind of crazy. M1 chip, 16 gigabytes of memory, and 512 SSD. You know, that seems fine, but I was looking for these specs down here. 1 terabyte SSD. So I bought this. I didn't buy this. Listen, okay? If I'm the average shopper, and I am, and there's 2 different specs inside the description for something, I'm going to assume it's the better one. And if it's not, I'm going to be upset. Needless to say, I was upset when it arrived and it was the 512. It wasn't a good enough deal to make a 1 terabyte SSD totally ridiculous. So it wasn't like I was asking for too much, I don't think. The other thing this includes, which I think is pretty nice, is we got the 96 watt power adapter and the USB-C MagSafe 3 cable. Those accessories are pretty nice. A lot of the other refurbished Macs I found on eBay do not have the MagSafe. They have, you know, a third-party lower watt power adapter. So I decided to go for it, and boy, was that a mistake. This is the box. You can see it was pretty beat up when I got it. It's got plenty of packing material, that's great. What's less great, it had this, which the Mac was in, and it was open. And this is sized so that it can fit a much larger than a 14-inch computer. Essentially, the Mac was wiggling around inside this packaging freely the entire time it was being shipped to me. First thing I notice is that the keyboard is filthy. It's covered in dust. It's just dirty. That's concerning. The other thing that's kind of concerning is that the computer's on. I open it up and the screen's on, like it's ready to go. It didn't even boot up. It was on the entire time it was shipped to me, which did not bode well. Here it is, okay? Now I paid for the excellent, you know, this is the best conditioned refurbished computer, or rather this variation of the computer that Best Buy has to offer. That's a dent right there. It doesn't show up on camera very well, but that's a dent And that's not nothing. That's the kind of thing you'd get if you ordered like a fair condition refurbished computer, at least in my opinion. That's how it should be. I mean, you know, we're paying big bucks for a computer here. Also, you can see there's a lot of scuffs. There's quite a few scratches here. Some of these are just like my fingerprints, but off to a bad start. Turn it over. Look, we got, it's like a gouge. I don't even know what that is. I don't know how that happens. Over here, there's a dent that's coming outwards. There's a demon inside this computer attempting to break out. This is interesting. Check this out. It's not screwed in completely over here. That's a good sign. This next thing is a more minor complaint, but like there's a lot of dust in the ports and stuff here, and it takes 2 seconds to blow those out with air, which I can do just fine myself. But you know, when I'm paying money for expensive computer, it would be nice if it wasn't something I needed to worry about. Opening up the computer. This next thing's really weird, and I don't really know how to explain it fully other than just showing you. The M key is melted. What? How do you do that? Other thing, which I've since cleaned up, and I didn't take any pictures of it because it grossed me out and I wouldn't show you even if I did, but there was a bunch of crust in the corner of the trackpad. I know about the force touch or the force click function of the MacBook trackpad. And at that time, I was kind of hoping I could use the force to hover above the trackpad and not have to touch it because it was so filthy. You know, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like for an expensive computer, I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to ask. Let's take a look at this. Wow, so surprising. This is 500 gigabytes, not the terabyte that I was kind of promised. But guess what? We're only getting started. Dude, what do you look so smug for? Get out of here. If you look over here, we got a 96 watt USB-C power adapter. Great. 96 watts. That's so fast. Is that 96 watts? 87 watts. That's different. Next, let's take a look at this incredible MagSafe charger. This is a USB-C cable. It's a perfectly fine cable, except if you live in California. I ordered this because it came with a MagSafe and it had a 96 watt charger. And oh, it's Best Buy. So, you know, big company, it must be good, right? Big companies make good stuff, isn't that right? Clearly not. This is all to say, I was kind of upset by this. I obviously submitted a refund. It was kind of weird. Best Buy gave me a little bit of a hard time doing that. It seems kind of crazy because really, the main reason that I went for eBay is because they have a really good return policy that oftentimes favors users. But they gave me some trouble here. They told me I could go into a Best Buy store and I might have to pay a restocking fee. It was really strange. But eventually they said, okay, you can send it back to us. So I decided I need to go out to find a different computer, one that I was going to get instead. So I saw something from this company called Loop Mobile. Now I have no experience with them. This is not sponsored or anything. I just saw this and I thought it looked like a pretty good deal and it seemed fine. This one here is a 10-core CPU and a 16-core GPU and 1 terabyte SSD. That sounded pretty good to me for the price. Generic charging cable, generic box, presumably generic AC thing as well. So we don't get any MagSafe with this. That's too bad. Here it is. Already, it's easy to tell it's in better physical condition. There's no scratches or lumps. What the heck? There's not a single melted key. What the hell? Editing Avery here. It looks really dusty in the footage. It doesn't look that bad in real life. Just thought I should mention that. As far as I know, I think the specs are correct this time. Let's see. Whoa, wait 1 second. What's this? I think this is under AppleCare coverage. And we got a terabyte of storage. Look at this charging brick. It's a big brick. 140 watts. That's awesome. Much more than I was promised. And came with a MagSafe. That's great. That's great. Under promising and over delivering is kind of it can be a mixed bag because, you know, I did go out and buy a MagSafe charger because I thought this wasn't going to come with one. But hey, I'm not going to complain that this was included. I guess trusting Best Buy was a mistake. This is not my only bad experience with Best Buy. One time I was in Best Buy and I was just looking around. And one of the salespeople comes up to me and tries to convince me to use their financing to buy a 4K TV. I wasn't even looking at the TVs. He just was like, hey, you should get a TV. Sure, there's gonna be like $2,000 in interest later on, but don't worry about that now. That was a crappy experience. And so far, the Loop mobile experience has been totally fine. Sample size of 1. You know, so I don't know if they're consistently good like this. I will put links in the description to both Best Buy's listing and Loop's listing. Affiliate links if you want to support the channel. I definitely recommend going with the Best Buy one if you want one that has that nice antique, worn look and feel to it in the wrong specs. Bye!